Hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is a channel where I typically like to make videos about books as well as videos about homeschooling, mostly book related. Today's video is a homeschooling video. It is a comparison video of two different types of nature study curriculum. And so what I'm comparing today is Exploring Nature with Children and the Gentle and Classical Nature programs. So I've used both of these, and I want to just give you a little bit more information about them. So I'm going to start off with giving you some of the components of both, so we're describing the programs. I actually have done an in-depth review of Gentle and Classical Nature, and I will link that above, where I go a lot more in detail through this program. I haven't done that with Exploring Nature with Children, but I'll explain kind of that program today. And then once I kind of go through both programs, I plan on talking a little bit about how they compare, in my opinion, as well as how we've used it. So let me hop in. I'm gonna start with, I'll start with Exploring Nature with Children. So this is a really cool program. I have been really impressed with it. Some basics about the program is it is a year-round program, and so it gives ideas for nature study that are kind of in a seasonal fashion and month to month. That means every month it's set up into 4 different weeks, and each week has a theme. Really quick, what I mean is that you can see here, like January, it's week 1, 2, 3, 4, and you can see January week 1 is the winter sky, 2 is the moon, and the winter tree study, and then pond study. So it always starts with a description of the topic. For here, it's saying this one's for the winter solstice, and it talks about planning a winter walk with your child to your special nature spot, things to look for, so it kind of gives you some promptings. So I would say with this program, you need the curriculum, and that book is probably bare minimum. We don't even have that book. We just use some other resources where I can find some of these topics, and we just utilize different books, but I still want to pick up that handbook because I really like that it gives different page numbers. So it's very handy. And then there's different books that you can get out from your library, nonfiction, fiction, a poem to read with your kids. Sorry if this is not coming up very well with the glare. But there's a poem to read with your kids, a piece of artwork, some extension activities, because it acknowledges the fact that most families have multiple age kids, and so it can talk about doing this program with a mixture of ages. So that's just kind of how a week is set up, and we really like that. And then at the beginning, it gives some just really basic stuff on getting started. So like setting up a nature table, setting up kind of a special spot maybe where you do some common nature walks, setting up a nature journal. It talks about adapting it for multiple ages, like I mentioned. So that is Exploring Nature with Children. It says a complete year-long curriculum by Lynn Seaton, and she actually has a number of other resources. So there's a Facebook group you can join, which I really enjoy, as well as her Instagram. I think it's called Raising Little Shoots. I can link those both below, but I am a part of both of those, and I really enjoy other people commenting or asking questions. Like they'll ask questions like, well, what did you do for the winter solstice, or the seed unit, or the tracks unit, or whatever it is. And so it's really good that there's those extra resources. So that was Exploring Nature with Children. Now a little bit more about Gentle and Classical Nature to just kind of compare these two programs. Like I said, I'm going to link up my more in-depth review of this program if you are curious about this program, because I think this one is less well known than Exploring Nature with Children. So please go take a look at that. I go through more stuff, but this is a program that is both gentle and classical. So it has kind of a Charlotte Mason flair. It's very much influenced by Charlotte Mason as well. But in addition, it also has a little bit of classical in there, so there's some memorization. This is written for 4-year-olds to 2nd grade students, and it's written by Erin Cox, and she has a wonderful set of curriculums. I highly recommend her. I'll link all her stuff below. She makes the PDFs actually available for free. They're a free download, and then her bundles are what you could pay for. So it's a very affordable curriculum. I think she views it more as a ministry, which is pretty neat. And so this program, I want to start with just a bit of a disclaimer. I think this is currently discontinued as of June 2020 because she has a new edition coming out in July of 2020, and she's just like kind of revamping the whole system. She's taking stuff in here that was once 1 week and making it into 2 weeks, and she's expanding it more and taking some stuff out. So I would like you to go look at that, look at the new stuff. But I want to kind of explain a little bit more of the general heart behind the program, which I think will stay the same. Like most of her curriculum, she starts with a big introduction that helps you really just understand the principles behind the program, where she's interweaving the classical plus the Charlotte Mason. And Charlotte Mason, in the sense that she's actually taking more than just the nature component or the nature sliver of a Charlotte Mason style, and she's doing some other things, such as what's called the Charlotte Mason attainments, so things that a 6-year-old should be able to do. So this is a more in-depth program because of that, and some of those things are being able to identify different trees, being able to identify north and south, or the sound of birds, or be able to recite different poetry or tell different history stories, and some of that is interwoven in her more preschool level 2 curriculum, and this nature curriculum stands beside that as more of a complete package. So like I said, this is free, but then she has things that are printables, which I think is really where this program shines, is things like this, where it is the memory verse for science of, I think it's week 1 when we covered amphibians. It's tadpoles turn into froglets, then into frogs. And you go over this over and over, and then your kids will start to relate, well, tadpoles, they turn into froglets before they turn into frogs, and it's really cute. And some other aspects of the attainments of Charlotte Mason is things like learning some foreign words, so either French or Spanish, and these tend to be very nature focused, obviously, since it's a nature study. And so there's different printables that you can put on your memory workboard as well. She has poems that are for memorizing, and they always have kind of cute graphics, and we love this aspect. I love this. And then things like life cycle graphics, so you could talk about the life cycle of a frog, and then there's the butterfly one, and bumblebees. There's so many different things that she has, and then she also has available in her bundles like Montessori type things, so three-part Montessori cards with the names and the labels, and so you can kind of play different games with those. And then you also have a lot of the recommended books, which the storybook being Frog and Toad, which we love. We love this story. We would read that anyway. Some of these, which I love, these Kate Mesner books, the Over and Under the Pond, and Up in the Garden and Down in the Dirt. So good. And then the kind of classic one, which is the Nature Anatomy, the Julia Rothman book, which we use. So those are encouraged within that program. So I don't want to do too much more because like I said, I have an in-depth review, and I don't want to bore anybody who has watched that one. So that is Gentle and Classical Nature. So now just to kind of give you a little bit of my thoughts on the two. So I would say both are very Charlotte Mason. I would say this Gentle and Classical Nature is geared more towards younger kids, which is probably what drew me here first. And this is geared a little towards older kids. Anybody who's flipped through the Handbook of Nature Study can attest that it's a little bit higher level. And so this tends to be geared a little bit towards an older student. You can adjust it younger, but I'd say this is written to a younger audience, in my opinion. I would say also that this Gentle and Classical Nature is more of a complete program. Like, not complete program, but it includes so many other things than just a nature study. It's a lot of those attainments and memorization, and it links right up with the Gentle and Classical Nature Level 2. It kind of weaves within that, and then all you need is math and phonics for these ages. And I guess if you're at the upper end, I don't know, grammar, I'm not sure. We just kind of added math and phonics and had that other curriculum, which I have a review for if you are interested in that, but I won't talk about that here because I'm just comparing the nature programs. This one, I would say, is a nature program. This is like you have all your other aspects of your homeschool all lined out, and you want a day that you do nature, and you want a guide to help you with that. This is awesome for that. And this is kind of where we ended up, and so I'll get to that in a second. But this is just, I would call it strictly nature program. There's nothing, no other components of memory or Charlotte Mason. It's really just nature. So those are kind of the main differences. They're both excellent programs. They just kind of have different feels, and you would use them in different ways, different ages, with different intentions, kind of what you want out of your nature program. And so I highly recommend both of them. They're both really good. Like I was just kind of intimating, this is the one that we are currently using. And that only was because this was a little too much of a whole entire program that wasn't good for the age of my kids, as where this one felt more flexible. Like, even though we're not using the Handbook of Nature Studies currently, because my kids are still kind of young. I have a 6-year-old, almost 5-year-old, and twin 2-year-olds. So they're kind of young. So this one I can adjust really well. I can find our own resources. I can look up our own stuff and be like, okay, we're gonna do a mushroom unit, and this can help me out with that. Or I can say like, okay, well in March, it looks like we only have one day we can potentially go out on a nature hike. What do I want to focus on? And I can look it up, and I have like kind of 4 options. 4 weeks I can be like, oh, I'd rather do this one. And I can plan that out to look for those things specifically. So this one gave me a little bit more flexibility, but I really do enjoy this, and we're keeping it and hoping to get back to it maybe when the twins are a little older. So yeah, that is kind of a comparison. I hope that is helpful. I know I didn't show you a lot into each curriculum, but they're different. And gentle and classical nature is a little harder to explain. Like I said, it might be easier to watch the review video I have on it, so I do a better job of fleshing out a little bit more of the detail there. But those are the 2 programs I've been asked to kind of review. I hope that helps those of you who have asked me questions about that. And please comment below with any additional questions or thoughts or comments on this topic. Nature study is very fun. I want to always include it for us, especially since we live in the city. So that is what I have for today. And yeah, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel if you like what you see and you want to stick around for more of these kind of fun homeschool videos. Please do that. And I will see you in the next video. All right, have a wonderful day.